സൂര്യപ്രകാശം ഉപയോഗിച്ച് അണുനശീകരണത്തിനുള്ള നൂതന മാർഗത്തെ പറ്റിയാണ് ഇന്നത്തെ ബിസിനസ് വിഷൻ ചർച്ച ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഈ ചർച്ചയ്ക്കായി ബ്രിട്ടീഷ് നോർത്തംബർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലെ പ്രൊഫസർ റോബ് റീഡ് നമ്മോടൊപ്പം ഇപ്പോൾ കൊച്ചി സ്റ്റുഡിയോയിലുണ്ട്. ഗ്രാമീണ മേഖലയിൽ ശുദ്ധജലം ലഭ്യമാക്കുന്നതിന് എന്തെല്ലാം ആൾട്ടർനേറ്റീവ് മെത്തേഡ്സ് ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ കഴിയുമെന്നുള്ള ഒരു അന്താരാഷ്ട്ര പ്രൊജക്റ്റാണ് ഇതിനു പിന്നിലുള്ളത്. കൊച്ചി സർവകലാശാലയുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെടുത്തി കൊച്ചി സർവകലാശാലയുടെ സഹകരണത്തോടുകൂടി നോർത്തംബ്രിയ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലെ ഡിവിഷൻ ഓഫ് ബയോമെഡിക്കൽ സയൻസസ് ഡിവിഷനിലെ പ്രൊഫസർ റോബ് റീഡാണ് നമ്മോടൊപ്പം ഇപ്പോൾ ഉള്ളത്. വെൽക്കം ടു ബിസിനസ് വിഷൻ ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ വിഷൻ ആൻഡ് we are discussing about solar disinfection as a management strategy for drinking water treatment in rural households in natural disasters. Now, what is the idea behind everything with this project?
So solar disinfection is quite a simple idea, and it's an idea which has been developed from centuries ago in India in ancient times. But the basic principle is that ultraviolet light from the sun is able to disinfect water. So if you put the water into a transparent container, such as a plastic mineral water bottle or Coca-Cola bottle, and leave it exposed to the sunlight for one day, then you will get disinfection of the water, but only if the water is oxygenated, is aerated, in order to give the reaction between the ultraviolet light and the oxygen.
Okay, who will get benefit out of it? How much quantity of water can be disinfected in this process?
Well, what we have done in
the minimum quantity of water that can be disinfected, because these will be small households, they cannot collect more water, and they may not be having space to.
Yeah, we have carried out some preliminary experiments in collaboration with Cochin University using a container that is 1 litre in size, and this container has been purpose designed in order to maximise the ultraviolet exposure to the water. So this will hold 1 litre of water, which is sufficient for a child or possibly a person during a day when it's not too hot. You can scale this up to 5 litres if necessary, and the ultraviolet effect has been enhanced by putting a reflective backing to the bottle. So this has been a custom built system which costs about 50 rupees and has been tested in 3 different areas of India and found to be effective in reducing the incidence of diarrheal disease. So this would be specifically designed for the population of rural India who are drinking water from ponds and contaminated wells and who have absolutely no alternative means of treatment of their water. So it's a sustainable, low-cost procedure. This bottle here has been used for 1 year in the field and is still transparent to ultraviolet light. It can still be used.
Does it become dirty after using for 1 year or something?
Well, as you can see, the bottle is slightly scratched, but it isn't dirty. It doesn't grow algae inside because it's cleaned and used every day. And the PET that it's used from could be recycled if necessary at the end of, say, 1 year, but it certainly lasts for at least a year. We've carried out 1 year trials, so we don't know how much longer it would last, but it would last for at least 1 year for 10 rupees for the bottle and 40 rupees for the reflector.
Don't you think this could be a little bit expensive for poor rural people?
Well, 10 rupees for a year to treat the water sounds even reasonable to me, even for people in rural India. And you know, if this is supported at the moment, it's supported by the Wellcome Trust, so the funds for buying these bottles has been covered by that. If it was covered by Drinking Water Mission or some other government agency or aid agency, then the cost could be brought down below 10 rupees per year.
Okay. Now, can people use some other kind of reflectors?
Well, there's nothing magical about this process. Any kind of transparent bottle can be used. So a Coca-Cola bottle, a mineral water bottle, in other parts of the world, in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Thailand, they're simply using discarded mineral water bottles. Things which would otherwise be thrown away are put to good use in Masai land in Kenya. And so there's no particular need to do this. We are trying to optimize to get the best possible results. So that's why we have undertaken this project, in order to get the maximum amount of UV exposure to the sunlight and the best possible effect. You could put it on any kind of reflective surface. You can use a little piece of aluminium foil, but eventually the aluminium foil becomes...
Suppose I use a mirror and place the bottle
Yes,
on top?
any kind of UV reflected surface. So a mirror would work, piece of metal which reflects the sunlight, anything would work, any kind of silvered surface would work. So there's no need to do it this way if you don't want to. You can use whatever is available.
What is the maximum size of a bottle that you can
We have
use?
we have carried out.
You know, as the quantity of water becomes large, you know, does the process takes any other kind of negative?
Yes, the larger the volume of water that you use, the slower the process is. We have carried out our experiments with 1 litre and 5 litres. So 5 litres would be sufficient for one person's drinking requirements for a typical day. We've also carried out experiments with 25 litres with a basin full of water, and as long as the depth is shallow and it's cleaned out every day, then you can treat those kinds of quantities of water, but you can't scale it up to a village pond or something like that because it doesn't work. The depth is too great, you get the growth of algae. You have to keep the volumes small, so 5 litres is feasible.
Okay, now where in Kerala you have conducted all these experiments?
These experiments in Kerala have been conducted in the Kutanad region around Alappuzha. We have also worked in UP, in Gorakhpur and in Rajasthan. So we have different areas of India, and in all 3 different areas we have seen a reduction in diarrheal disease for people who have been using solar treated water of around 2/3. So that's really very significant in terms of the impact that it has on people's health. And one of the most important things that we carried out at the end of the 1-year trial was to talk to the women's groups, the self-help groups, and to get feedback and evaluation on what they felt about the solar disinfection, not just the cases of diarrheal disease and cholera and gastroenteritis, but get the women's feedback. And without exception, they were all positive about how it improved their health and well-being. It helped them to work for longer in the fields or to be stronger in the home. So they were all very positive about the impact that
How many households were involved in this experiment?
So in each of the areas, it was about 400 or 500 people, maybe 100, 120 households in each of the different villages.
Okay, okay. Now, what are the diseases that normally people get after drinking contaminated water? And after this experiment, have you found out the disease has decreased, or the rate of disease has decreased?
The kinds of diseases that people get include cholera, dysentery, diarrhea, hepatitis from drinking water, and we have carried out experiments in Cusat which have shown that all of the bacteria that cause cholera and dysentery and diarrhea and the viruses responsible for viral infectious waterborne diseases are all inactivated by a day's exposure to sunlight in solar disinfection. The rate of reduction of diarrhea and gastroenteritis in the different areas, in the 3 areas, was between 50% and 70%. So it's a very substantial decrease in diarrhea and gastroenteritis and waterborne disease.
Now, how many hours we have to keep this bottle of water exposed to sun?
So the procedure is that you would fill this in the morning from the contaminated source, from the pond or from the well. You would then need to oxygenate the water to make sure that there's sufficient oxygen in there. That's quite easy to do because all you need to do is to shake the bottle maybe 20 times in order to mix the oxygen with the water, because it's the reaction of the sunlight with the oxygen that kills the microorganisms that cause disease. So you shake it 20 times, you then leave it in the sunlight for at least 5 hours. But we recommend the whole day. So if you put it out in the morning at say 9 o'clock, by 3 o'clock, 6 hours, 5 or 6 hours, then that is sufficient. You can either drink it then, or you can drink it the following day if you wish to cool it down. Now, people who are taking it, say, to the rice paddies in Alappuzha were taking it out in the morning, leaving it, working all day, and then drinking the water at the end of the day at 2 or 3 o'clock when they had finished their work.
Okay. What is the ideal intensity of light, sunlight that is recommended for this?
The process works
in relation with the time.
The process works in high intensity full sunlight. Now that, if you measure it in scientific terms, is above 700 watts per square meter.
700 watts per
700 watts per square meter. But of course, rural people don't have a meter to measure the light level. Right. So the very simple way of measuring light is to look for shadows. If you have sunlight that is bright enough to give a shadow, then that is high enough to give solar disinfection.
We have thick foliage and, you know, thickly vegetated
you must leave the bottles in an area which is exposed to full sunlight. So it must not be in the shade. So if you have a building or a tree or some foliage, then you must move the bottle to an area where it is going to get direct sunlight all day. So you must think about the way that the sun will move and find an area. But in the villages where we tried, villagers would find a position, they would work out a position where the sunlight was there for the whole of the day and there was no foliage and no shadows.
Now, how are we going to take this project or the idea to the people, explain it? Now, when is the next stage? I mean,
so the follow-up process, which we're hoping to get funding for, is to continue this through the School of Environmental Studies at CUSAT and Dr. Bright Singh, who's the reader in microbiology there. And the hope is that we'll get funding and agencies involved in looking at dissemination and rollout of this program from a couple of villages to more villages in Kerala, and to increase the size of this container from 1 litre to 4 to 5 litres. So this is the idea, that this will be promoted by CUSAT through the School of Environmental Studies over the next 2 or 3 years.
who are the agencies that you want to, cooperate with it or associate with it?
So this project would be of interest to any NGO or local agency or self-help group or panchayat who wanted to improve the quality of their water. It's a very, very low-cost process, and anyone who is interested, I would urge them to get in touch with Dr. Bright Singh or Shubhu Mani at the School of Environmental Studies of CUSAT, and they will be able to give you the information that we have so far and also involve you in the follow-on project.
Okay. So definitely this is a greater project for a social cause. But eventually it may become a commercial activity. Do you anticipate?
Yes, I think that's the case. One of the things that has happened with solar disinfection in other countries where waste bottles have been used is that the people who are using them get the impression that they're second class, that they're substandard. And so they say, well, we don't want someone else's waste. So that was why we took this approach of having a custom-built bottle for 10 rupees. So, okay, you have to maybe charge people 5 rupees and you subsidize for 5 rupees at the beginning. But eventually you can envisage that a manufacturer would produce this kind of system that would be certified as working in full sunlight, and then it would take off as a commercial enterprise. I think it has to, in order to drive it forward. It can't be just an age process. It won't
Later,
work.
and I see another kind of I don't call it a negative aspect, but then after so many years you will find a lot of PET bottles,
Right.
and which may cause pollution, isn't it? Do you think so?
The PET is fully recyclable, so there's absolutely no reason why this shouldn't be recycled and sustainable. So if this became a larger project, that could be part of it. Maybe that you would sell these for 15 rupees, but you would take back the old one for 5 in order to recycle it. So the same person who was producing it could also recycle, and therefore it would be completely sustainable.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reed. I will show the viewers about in Malayalam. Sri Professor Rob Reed വിശദീകരിക്കുന്നത് എന്തെന്നാൽ വളരെ മലിനജലം ശുദ്ധീകരിക്കാനായി 1 ലിറ്റർ കൊള്ളുന്ന ഇത്തരം PET കുപ്പികളിൽ വെള്ളം ശേഖരിക്കുകയും സൂര്യപ്രകാശത്തിൽ വയ്ക്കുകയുമാണ്. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ ഇതുപോലെയുള്ള റിഫ്ലക്റ്റേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ കൂടുതൽ പ്രവർത്തനക്ഷമമാവുകയും അത് ചെയ്യും. ഒരു ദിവസം 5-6 മണിക്കൂർ നേരം സൂര്യപ്രകാശത്തിലേക്ക് ഈ വെള്ളം നിറച്ച ബോട്ടിലുകൾ വയ്ക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ 6 മണിക്കൂറിന് ശേഷം ശക്തമായ സൂര്യപ്രകാശത്തിൽ ഇതിൽ ഉള്ള അണുക്കൾ ഇല്ലാതാവുകയും കുടിക്കാൻ ഉപയോഗക്ഷമമാവുകയും ചെയ്യുമെന്നാണ്. ഇത് സംബന്ധിച്ച പരീക്ഷണങ്ങൾ കൊച്ചി സർവകലാശാലയുമായും ചേർന്നിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു അന്താരാഷ്ട്ര പ്രൊജക്റ്റിൻ്റെ കീഴിൽ കൊച്ചി സർവകലാശാലയുമായി നടത്തിയ പരീക്ഷണങ്ങളാണ്. മലിനജലം ഉപയോഗിക്കുമ്പോഴുണ്ടാകുന്ന രോഗങ്ങൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതുപോലെയുള്ള വാട്ടർ ബോൺ ഡിസീസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന പലവിധ രോഗങ്ങളും തന്നെ പരീക്ഷണങ്ങൾക്ക് ശേഷം വളരെയധികം കുറഞ്ഞതായി കാണുകയുണ്ടായി. കുട്ടനാട്ടിൽ, ആലപ്പുഴയിലെ കുട്ടനാട്ടിലാണ് ഏതാണ്ട് 300ഓളം കുടുംബങ്ങൾ ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തിയ പരീക്ഷണം നടന്നത്. ഇതിൻ്റെ അടുത്ത ഘട്ടം ജനങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ചെല്ലുകയും വളരെ ചെലവ് കുറഞ്ഞ രീതിയിൽ എത്രത്തോളം ശുദ്ധജലം ലഭ്യമാക്കാമെന്നുള്ള രീതി പരീക്ഷിക്കുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അടുത്ത ഘട്ടത്തിൽ എല്ലാ ജനങ്ങളെ സമീപിക്കാനാണ് ക്യുസാറ്റ് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. അതിനുവേണ്ടി NGO സംഘടനകളും ഒരുപക്ഷെ കുടുംബക്ഷേമ പദ്ധതിയുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടായിരിക്കും ഇവർ കൂടുതൽ പ്രവർത്തിക്കുക. ഇത് ഒരു അന്താരാഷ്ട്ര പ്രൊജക്റ്റായിട്ടാണ് ഇത് വിഭാവനം ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. നോർത്തേൺ കൊറിയ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി, ബ്രിട്ടനിലെ യുണൈറ്റഡ് കിങ്ഡത്തിലെ നോർത്തംബ്രിയ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലെ ബയോമെഡിക്കൽ സയൻസസുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് ക്യുസാറ്റുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് വെൽക്കം ട്രസ്റ്റ് UK നടത്തുന്ന അവരുടെ ധനസഹായത്തോടെ നടത്തുന്ന ഒരു പദ്ധതിയാണ്. ഈ പദ്ധതി ജലക്ഷാമം അനുഭവിക്കുന്ന ശുദ്ധജലക്ഷാമം അനുഭവിക്കുന്ന ഗ്രാമപ്രദേശങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ഉള്ളൊരു വരദാനമായി തന്നെയാണ് ഇത് നമ്മൾ കണക്കാക്കേണ്ടത്. ഇതിൻ്റെ വിജയം നമ്മൾ പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കാം. എല്ലാതരം വിജയവും ഇതിനുണ്ടാകുമെന്ന് നമുക്ക് പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കാം. ഈ അവസരത്തിൽ ഇതേപ്പറ്റി സംസാരിക്കാൻ ഇവിടെ തയ്യാറായി വന്ന പ്രൊഫസർ ബോബ് റീഡിന് പ്രത്യേകം നന്ദി പറയുന്നു. Thank you
Thank you
for coming to our studios and explain all these things.
Thank you.